Imagine leading the most powerful empire in the world, and still struggling with doubt, anger, pain, and loss. Now imagine facing it all, with calm, control, and unshakable clarity. Before we dive into these 110 life-changing quotes, let's ask the real question: who was Marcus Aurelius? And why should you, in the 21st century, care about what a Roman emperor wrote 2,000 years ago? Marcus Aurelius wasn't just a ruler. He was the last of the 5 good emperors of Rome, a man who held power over an empire stretching across 3 continents. But behind the throne was a humble philosopher, a deep thinker, and a man constantly at war, not just on the battlefield, but within himself. He wrote not to impress, but to survive. His journal, Meditations, was never meant to be published. It was his private guide, a series of notes to help him stay calm in chaos, humble in glory, and strong in suffering. And that's why his words are so powerful. They're not theoretical. They're real, raw, and tested in the fire of life. Today, when the world feels noisy, fast, and uncertain, Marcus Aurelius brings us back to center, to what truly matters: discipline, perspective, resilience, inner peace. He reminds us that you don't need to control the world, only how you respond to it. That's Stoicism. And he lived it like no other. So now, take a deep breath. If you're tired of fake motivation and shallow positivity, and you're searching for clarity, courage, and inner peace, these 110 quotes from Marcus Aurelius will shift how you see yourself, handle your struggles, and move through life with strength and purpose. 1. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. 2. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. 3. Your thoughts shape your life. If they're noble, so will your life be. 4. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. 5. Rise above your enemy, don't become them. 6. Look well into thyself, there is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. 7. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. 8. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. 9. If it is not right, do not do it, if it is not true, do not say it. 10. Embrace what fate hands you, and those it brings with it, fully and without resistance. If these words resonate with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. Your support fuels more content like this. 11. Look for beauty in the everyday, even the stars invite you to join their quiet rhythm. 12. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. 13. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. 14. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. 15. Very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself in your way of thinking. 16. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. 17. Everything that happens, happens as it should, and if you observe carefully you will find this to be so. 18. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. 19. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. 20. It is not the actions of others which trouble us, for those actions are controlled by their governing part, but rather it is our own judgments. Therefore remove those judgments and resolve to let go of your anger, and it will already be gone. How do you let go of your anger? By realizing that such actions are not shameful to you. 21. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. 22. Objective judgment, now, at this very moment. Unselfish action, now, at this very moment. Willing acceptance, now, at this very moment, of all external events. 23. Stay calm and serene regardless of what life throws at you. 24. Such as are your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind, for the soul is dyed by the thoughts. 25. That which is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees. 26. To live a good life, we have the potential for it if we can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. 27. To live the good life, we have the potential for it if we can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. 28. When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you. 29. Control your mind, not the world around you. True strength begins within. 30. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. 31. It isn't manly to be enraged. Rather, gentleness and civility are more human, and therefore manlier. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. 32. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all. 33. Because most of what we say and do is not essential. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? 34. Dig deep within yourself, for there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging. 35. If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. 36. It's all in how you perceive it. You're in control. You can dispense with misperception at will, like rounding the point. 37. Which Marcus Aurelius quote spoke to you most? Drop it in the comments, and keep striving for wisdom. It's silly to try to escape other people's faults. They are inescapable. Just try to escape your own. 38. It's unfortunate that this has happened. No. It's fortunate that this has happened and I've remained unharmed. 39. Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. 40. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. 41. Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. 42. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. 43. This is the mark of perfection of character, to spend each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, laziness, or any pretending. 44. You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. 45. You're better off not giving the small things more time than they deserve. 46. The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time. 47. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. 48. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. 49. It's a disgrace in this life when the soul surrenders first while the body refuses to. 50. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now, take what's left, and live it properly. 51. Think of the life you have lived until now as over and, as a dead man, see what's left as a bonus and live it according to nature. 52. Death, like birth, is a secret of nature. 53. Death is the cessation of all the functions by which we judge of matter or body. 54. A noble man compares and estimates himself by an idea which is higher than himself, and a mean man, by one lower than himself. The one produces aspiration, the other ambition, which is the way in which a vulgar man aspires. 55. Let men see, let them know, a real man, who lives as he was meant to live. 56. Live out your life in truth and justice, tolerant of those who are neither true nor just. 57. Make sure you're not made emperor, avoid that imperial stain. 58. Remind yourself that your task is to be a good human being, remind yourself what nature demands of people. 59. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? 60. Take a good hard look at people's ruling principle, especially of the wise, what they run away from and what they seek out. 61. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. 62. When you've done well and another has benefited by it, why like a fool do you look for a third thing on top, credit for the good deed or a favor in return? 63. While it's true that someone can impede our actions, they can't impede our intentions and our attitudes, which have the power of being conditional and adaptable. For the mind adapts and converts any obstacle to its action into a means of achieving it. That which is an impediment to action is turned to advance action. The obstacle on the path becomes the way. 64. You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this. 65. Tomorrow is nothing, today is too late, the good lived yesterday. 66. We live only now. Everything else is either past or is unknown. 67. Here is a rule to remember in future: when anything tempts you to feel bitter, not, this is misfortune, but, to bear this worthily is good fortune. 68. Wherever a person can live, there one can also live well. 69. Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is colored by such impressions. 70. The only wealth which you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away. 71. The universe is transformation, life is opinion. 72. Time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current. No sooner is a thing wrought to sight than it is swept by and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. 73. To live happily is an inward power of the soul. 74. To the wise, life is a problem, to the fool, a solution. 75. To understand the true quality of people, you must look into their minds, and examine their pursuits and aversions. 76. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. 77. Our life is what our thoughts make it. 78. Poverty is the mother of crime. 79. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. 80. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. 81. A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. If you're on a journey toward clarity, calm, and control, subscribe now, and walk the Stoic path with us. 82. Be content to seem what you really are. 83. Confine yourself to the present. 84. Each day provides its own gifts. 85. Everything that happens happens as it should, and if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so. 86. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. 87. Here is the rule to remember in the future: when anything tempts you to be bitter, not, "This is a misfortune," but, "To bear this worthily is good fortune." 88. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. 89. It is in the power of the soul to maintain its own serenity and tranquility and not to think that pain is an evil. 90. Life is neither good or evil, but only a place for good and evil. 91. Life is short, the fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. 92. Look back over the past, with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future, too. 93. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if thou wilt ever dig. 94. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Still watching. That means you value depth over distraction. Tap, like, and prove that ancient wisdom still matters. 95. Natural ability without education has more often raised a man to glory and virtue than education without natural ability. 96. Nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear. 97. Nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically and truly all that comes under thy observation in life. 98. Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast and love sincerely the fellow creatures with whom destiny has ordained that you shall live. 99. Kindness is invincible, but only when it's sincere, with no hypocrisy or faking. For what can even the most malicious person do if you keep showing kindness and, if given a chance, you gently point out where they went wrong, right as they are trying to harm you? 100. We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth. 101. We ought to do good to others as simply as a horse runs, or a bee makes honey, or a vine bears grapes season after season without thinking of the grapes it has borne. 102. Our ancestors have left this to us in trust, to preserve and to hand on to our descendants. 103. When you first rise in the morning, tell yourself, "I will encounter busybodies, ingrates, egomaniacs, liars, the jealous and cranks. They are all stricken with these afflictions because they don't know the difference between good and evil. Because I have understood the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, I know that these wrongdoers are still akin to me, and that none can do me harm, or implicate me in ugliness, nor can I be angry at my relatives or hate them. For we are made for cooperation." 104. I have learned to read with diligence, not to rest satisfied with a light and superficial knowledge. 105. Your work is to discover your work and then with all your heart to give yourself to it. 106. In your actions, don't procrastinate. In your conversations, don't confuse. In your thoughts, don't wander. In your soul, don't be passive or aggressive. In your life, don't be all about business. 107. Joy for human beings lies in proper human work. And proper human work consists in acts of kindness to other human beings, disdain for the stirrings of the senses, identifying trustworthy impressions, and contemplating the natural order and all that happens in keeping with it. 108. Begin. To begin is half the work, let half still remain. Again begin this, and thou wilt have finished. 109. Concentrate every minute on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice. Take a moment to share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Let Marcus Aurelius speak to them. 110. To the best of my judgment, when I look at the human family, I see it composed of beings who are to one another as the parts of some whole. Save this video for your tough days. These 110 quotes can guide you when life tests you.